Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved Hot Wheels. The brightly colored paint jobs and imaginative silly car designs are sure to tickle anyone's brain, but in my opinion, the most brain-tickling thing about them is the gimmicks. Moving parts, hidden features, magnets, and more. Hot Wheels have tried and failed with hundreds of different gimmicks over the past 50 years, but the most important and longest-running gimmick series they've ever produced are the color-changing Hot Wheels. Toy cars that can literally change colors like magic. And during the rise and fall and rise again of these color-changing cars, there's been many different series and offshoots as it developed into what it is today, such as various track sets, cars that can change color and shape in water, or even gimmicks on the packaging itself. Needless to say, this series of toys absolutely captivated me with its sheer amount of fun and creativity, so I thought it would be cool to do a whole video about them. So buckle up and join me on a deep dive into the entire history of these magical color-changing Hot Wheels. It all started in the 1970s, where a new type of paint was being invented called thermochromic paint, a magical concoction of chemicals that can literally change colors back and forth just from temperature. I'm not gonna get into the complex chemistry as to why it changes colors, just know that it does and it's complicated. There's many practical uses for this, like battery testers and thermometers, but it obviously quickly caught on with the toy industry. Mood rings were invented in 1975, color-changing snow gloves called Freaky Freezies came out in 1984, there's this color-changing Hello Kitty bath toy from 1985, or even these space fidget toys from 1986. But then, in 1988, Mattel wowed the world of toy cars with their very first series of color-changing Hot Wheels, the Color Racers. Toy cars that can literally change colors just by being dipped in hot or cold water.
Now you can design your own special Hot Wheels in seconds.
Seeing something like this as a kid is literally black magic. It makes no sense how this is even possible. Personally, when I was a kid, I actually got really confused by these and thought they changed colors just because of the water and not the temperature. And obviously I'm talking about the current day version of these. I was literally not alive in the 80s. I'm sure I'm not alone in dipping one of these in room temperature water and being disappointed when nothing happens. Or I'm just stupid, I don't know. To be fair, they always marketed it as specifically hot or cold water changes its color, but that's just because water is the easiest and most fun way to do it. Like, if you left one in the freezer for a few minutes, it would end up changing colors, but that's obviously not as fun. Anyways, the original series was called Color Racers in the US and Automagic in the international release. And can I just mention how awesome this packaging is? It's just so obviously 80s. This original series offered a pretty good range of options, from race cars to vintage cars to trucks and even some goofy ones like the Shark Cruiser. I also found this commercial that aired the same year they came out that talked about a sweepstakes.
If you buy any Color Racers right now and your car says winner,
revealing a winning message after changing the color of a car is honestly a really creative way to do a sweepstakes. They had a few different prizes, with the biggest one being a whole real-life Mustang.
or a real Mustang convertible. For mom or dad, of course.
So whoever actually won this, I hope you're enjoying your Mustang. Unless the winning toy was bought by a collector who literally never realized because it's still in the box or something. There's really no way to know if anyone actually won this or not.
Now get Hot Wheels Micro Color.
They also released micro color racers or mini Automagic cars, which are just even smaller versions of them. And on the other side of the spectrum, they also made giant color racers for some reason. So I guess you have 3 different freaking car sizes to choose from with these. And the next year in 1989, they released triple colored versions of them that can change between 3 different colors instead of just 2.
Now with triple color change.
Previously, there was a hot or a cold color, but now there's a dedicated color for a much more sinister third option, lukewarm. Also, for some reason, many of the cars came packaged with this weird sponge thing. I found a bunch of photos of them online, but literally no information about what they're supposed to do. What the frick is the purpose of these stupid sponges? Along with the release of Color Racers, they also made a playset called the Auto Paint Factory, although it's literally just a crane contraption to pick up cars and dip them in water, which isn't really anything special gimmick-wise. You can literally just dip them in water yourself, no need to get a whole crane to do it for you. Still pretty cool though. And the next year in 1989, they released a second playset, the Automagic Car Wash. This thing is a fully themed car wash set that can spill water on the cars, and it's actually really well detailed, although it takes so many freaking pieces to build. There ain't no way any kids actually want to put all this together. But as it turns out, Hot Wheels weren't the only brand making color-changing cars around this time. In fact, that very same year of 1988, multiple other brands also released their own color-changing toy cars all at once, and the color-changing war of 1988 began. Hot Wheels released Color Racers, Matchbox released Super Color Changers, Road Champs released Color Champs, Funrise made Micro Color Changers, Micro Machines made Sun Color Changers, the list goes on! And every single one of these say their original release date was 1988, so I have genuinely no clue who actually did it first. Either they all came up with the same idea at the same time, or one brand did it first and everyone else is copying them. But by the time 1990 rolled around, after 2 years straight of the color-changing cars battling it out, every single one of them were either temporarily or permanently cancelled. Besides Hot Wheels, which means the Color Racers ultimately won the color-changing war. But if the Color Racers were so good, then why not make Color Racers 2? So after winning the war in 1990, they came out with the sequel Color Racers 2, or internationally Automagic 2. And to prove themselves worthy of the 2 in the name, they introduced a new gimmick, the Magic Ice Pen. Basically, you use these mini ice trays to make cone-shaped ice to put at the end of the pen. Then you can use the ice pen to draw designs on the car, which is such a cool idea. There's also this updated packaging artwork that includes the Magic Pen in action. Although as it turns out, the color-changing war was far from over and is now exploding into the rest of the toy industry. Color-changing Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Barbies, toy flashlights, and more, color-changing toys were on the rise, and in order to stay alive, Hot Wheels needed to consistently introduce new gimmicks to keep kids interested. So one more year later in 1991, they took a gamble and released an entirely new line of color-changing Hot Wheels with the most insane gimmick imaginable, the Convertables. And the gimmick of these ones is that the cars can change color and shape in water? What the frick?
2 cars in one. Change them, then race them.
And once again, this packaging artwork is just so beautiful. According to this article by Mike Piggott, the way they actually change shape is that there's a little spring mechanism inside the car that expands and contracts based on temperature, and that little spring would push a piece of plastic in or out of place. They were originally going to make 12 of them, and they were split into 3 groups: the Hot Rods, Roadsters, and Wreckers. The Hot Rods would change from normal cars to colorful ones, the Roadsters would go from closed window to open, and the Wreckers would change from normal to wrecked. I really love how they went about implementing this gimmick. A mysterious black car magically turning into a colorful one with a huge engine and spoiler out of nowhere is awesome. But surprisingly, they sold so terribly that they were instantly cancelled before they even finished making them. In the end, only 8 were actually released, specifically the Hot Rods and Wreckers, which is such a shame. My absolute favorite one is the Black Bullet. It switches between this mysterious black race car into an insane looking tiger car with an open windshield, but sadly this one was in the Roadsters group that never released. We were genuinely robbed of one of the coolest color shifting Hot Wheels of all time. My other favorite is probably the Shifting 50s, because it has a nice almost vaporwave looking design, and thankfully there's still quite a few of these on eBay, so I actually got one to try out. Convertible! So I have no idea if this thing is even gonna work because it's like 30 years old. I am gonna be as careful as possible with the packaging because this is literally a relic. Oh god, I'm so scared to open this. Come on! Okay, what is this? Look for speed points in packaging of your favorite Hot Wheels products. I have no clue what that means. Oh my gosh. Here's the car! Oh, there's the spring in the inside. Wait, I can actually see it. Okay, so the engine actually comes in and out just normally now. That's not a good sign for the functionality of this thing. Well, let's go see if this works. Hello everybody, I'm with my boyfriend Chibi on the camera. Okay, so we're gonna see if this one works. What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Wait, it's actually changing. Really slowly, it's changing. Oh, it actually changed. This thing is 30 years old. I thought the paint would have worn off by now. It's black now, and the engine is down, which is what it's supposed to look like. Now let's try hot. Wait, the engine is slightly popped out. How does it know? How does it know, Shibby? How does it know? Yeah, it kind of worked. Oh my gosh. That's actually really cool that this thing still works. Stop recording the cat. It's so weird how slow it is. Like, it's barely going. Oh my god, we got a gradient on the front. It works, convertible. Yay. But after the convertible sadly crashed and burned in sales, Hot Wheels took a whole year-long break from making any new color-changing cars. But then, in 1993, they came out with an entirely new and rebranded line of color-changing cars, the Color FX, or Color Turbo internationally.
Change them, color FX. Instant color change cars.
But what exactly makes this series worthy of an entirely new name? Well, instead of risking it again with another insane gimmick, they decided to expand upon what they already knew. Basically, they took the ice pen idea from Color Racers 2 and made multiple different versions of it, although this time you just dip it in cold water instead of freezing an entire piece of ice. There's a two-sided pen, a paintbrush that's much larger, and then this bazooka looking thing for some reason. Also, the rainbow 80s packaging style is now replaced with these awesome artworks of the cars changing colors. The cars are split into 4 groups with a custom artwork for each one, specifically the military machines, race cars, wild cruisers, and show cars. The packages are also always 2-packs now, with a random pen in the middle. The cars themselves also have quite a few really cool looking designs. My favorite one is this Camaro that switches between plain purple and this insanely cool skeleton decal that's actually featured in one of the artworks. There's also the highway hauler that changes from purple to a dinosaur breaking out of its cage, and the tanker truck that changes from plain black to toxic waste spilling out. The next year in 1994, they did another color effects series specifically themed after creature-related cars called Monster Models, which, foreshadowing, may or may not happen again in the future. This series also has a nice artwork of the Swarmulo car at the top, along with a little picture of one being customized. Also, this little blurb says, "Make your own memory paint TM designs," which means they trademarked the term memory paint, and then proceeded to literally never use it again. I genuinely think this is the single only time they've ever used it. The other cool creature cars in this series are the Gargoyle, Turboa, Arachnarod, Shark Cruiser, and more. But then there's also just the Killer Copter, which isn't even a car, and also a freaking blimp called the Octo Blimp. I was actually able to find some on eBay, so I obviously bought one to try out. Okay, so here's the one I got. It's such a big package. Okay, I'm gonna need to be really careful with this one. Time to do surgery on the packaging. I removed its organs. Okay, there they are. Whoa, what the? Oh gosh, wait, the pen is like, it's rubbing off like instantly. I'm gonna need to vacuum that up. It literally just crumbled away after I put it in water. As you can see, all the sponge bits have just completely crumbled away. And here are the cars. Well, let's go see if these work. It freaking worked. It's blue now. Okay, let's try this one. Oh, wow. It is perfectly functional. That's so cool. Getting the pen really hot. Wow. It doesn't work. Oh. Look at that.
What are you doing?
Look at the car, it changed color. But this year, they also really doubled down on the pen gimmick with the track sets. The first one is the Paintwork set, which is a fully themed factory set to paint your cars in. It includes a squirt gun and 4 new paintbrushes to use, which is awesome.
Now Paintworks comes with these brushes and this spray.
There's this one, a thick brush, a precise brush, and a wave brush. The set itself also pulls off a really nice aesthetic with all the little details. This thing is genuinely freaking awesome. The other set is called a Loop and Splash, and it's basically this big loop with water to splash in at the bottom, hence the name Loop and Splash. It also has its own cute little factory area to use the 5 new tools included with the set. There's another basic paintbrush, then this weird wavy rolly thing which is pretty cool, and the other 3 are basically stamps, which is kinda genius, specifically flames, stars, and lightning bolts, which means between both of these sets and the cars themselves, there's 12 different tools to get creative with. And the gimmicks still aren't done yet, because the next year in 1995, they introduced the Color Effects Super Stamper series. With this series, they doubled down on the stamps from the Loop and Splash set, with every car coming with 4 new stamps to use. There's 6 cars in the series, which means there's a total of 24 new stamps to use. First, there's this one with some flaming stamps, this one with some paint splotches and handprints, this one with some monster-themed stamps, this one with racing-themed stamps, this one with creature-themed stamps, and this one with pirate stamps. I obviously needed to try these out, so thankfully you can still find them on eBay. The funny super stamper! I specifically got the pirate-themed one because I like the stamps the most. Look at that! Oh my gosh, they look so weird. And there's the car it comes with. Look at this dinky old thing. The stamps look like freaking hammers. Okay, so now we have the super stampers. I mean, I guess we can first see if this car works. Yeah, it still does work. He turns black. Let me get the stamp really hot. God damn it. It didn't work. Let's try it with the opposite color. Dude, it completely doesn't work anymore. Okay guys, future Polygon donut here. So I came up with an idea that actually makes these work, and I'm kind of stupid for not doing it earlier. Basically, I just put the stamps in the freezer for a few minutes, and now they actually work. So let's try the skull, and look at that! It's there! It works, and that's really cool. It's kind of fun to mess with. Put some swords on there. Wow! There's a dinosaur skull. Oh my gosh! And you can even kind of draw with the corner of it. Look, I'm drawing all over this guy. Wow! But as it turns out, the Super Stampers would sadly be the final entry into the Color FX series. Overall, all the different tools this series introduced do an amazing job at giving the color changers a genuine purpose to play with. Even though the pens didn't work for me, I'm sure when they did work back in the 90s like in the commercials, they were probably really awesome. Changing a car's color back and forth can get kinda boring, but having all these different tools to paint silly designs with just water is magical. I just can't imagine color changing Hot Wheels without all the fun tools to play with. I'm sure they'll continue to sell a variety of fun tools for many years to come. I mean, it's just such an obvious thing to do. Actually, now that I think about it, I wonder what new crazy gimmicks they're gonna introduce next year. But then, after only 6 years of color changing Hot Wheels, they just kinda disappeared. After all the fun and exciting gimmicks and track sets, they just all of a sudden stopped. No more new color changing cars, no more new gimmicks, and no more new track sets for 13 years straight. And then finally, a color changing light showed at the end of the dark tunnel, and in 2008 they finally came out with a newly rebranded series of color changing Hot Wheels, the Color Shifters. After 13 years of waiting, we finally have more color-changing Hot Wheels. I don't know what took them so long, but thankfully this new series is still ongoing to this day. First off, let's talk about this new logo, because I'm such a huge fan of it. We went from color racers to convertibles to color effects, and now this one, and I honestly think it's my favorite. The watery red and blue arrows perfectly translate the color-changing mechanic, and its visual flair is very reminiscent of the early 2000s style. But the absolute best part of the new packaging is the introduction of the door mechanism that lets you switch between both car colors. This level of interactivity on the packaging itself is full of so much whimsy. I love it so much. There was even this goofy Halloween edition and Easter edition, with the cars being dunked into fake water tanks, which is so whimsical as well. And I even found this goofy Easter egg shaped package. Although gimmick-wise, there's literally nothing. During the release year of 2008, these things were absolutely bare bones compared to the 90s. No pens or stamps or moving parts at all, and for some reason, many of them have really boring and ugly colors instead of the bright and eye-catching colors they used in the 90s. Like this van that goes from orange to vomit green, or this one that goes from booger green to ugly purplish brown, or this American flag car that changes to orange with the flag details still weirdly showing through. And occasionally, many of the cars just switch between two colors that are way too similar to each other, making it really hard to tell if they even changed colors at all. Like this one that goes from orange to a lighter orange, or these ones that go from green to a lighter green, or even this one that goes from dark blue to slightly not as dark blue. The whole point of color changing cars is so you can be like, wow, my car changed colors, this is so cool, instead of, wow, my car is a slightly lighter shade of blue now, no way! But thankfully, the next year in 2009, they released the Custom Color Shop playset, which finally revives the pen gimmick from the 90s.
Customize cars with the paint pen.
And the rest of the playset is just some tracks, a waterfall, and water tanks. They also released another playset called the Color Blaster, that's mainly just a squirt gun to use on the cars, which is pretty cool. Although to advertise the playset, they released a full-on 3D Color Shifters racing flash game called Color Shifters Track Action. And oh my god, I love this game! This game was developed by Blit Interactive in 2009, and even though its main purpose is to advertise a single track set, it's such a whimsical work of art with so much love and care put into it. Blit Interactive also made many other branded Flash games that are way more charming than they need to be, such as this candy-themed Speed Racer game that I absolutely loved as a kid. Anyways, booting up an archive of the game, the very first frame we see is a loading screen advertising the Color Blaster track set, although that's the entire extent of its product placement as we're immediately greeted with a track selection. We've got the action-packed beginner's track or the thrilling stunts for serious racers. The second one is the much more difficult and cooler option, but let's start with the first one for now. Next we can can choose between 5 different color shifters to drive: the Circle Tracker, Midnight Auto, Nitro Scorcher, Rocket Fire, and Ground Effects. Also, I'm pretty sure not a single one of these cars are even real color shifters. They're just normal Hot Wheels, which is weird. Hopping into the first track, the charm of this game is immediately apparent as we drive on winding bright orange roads above an infinite ocean. The roads curve up and down, with various support pillars emerging from the water below. Spotlights shine into the sky, actual 3D clouds float above. There's even giant spinning Hot Wheels logos. And of course, due to this being about color shifters, there's occasional waterfalls that change your car's color as you race. The actual racing gameplay itself is fairly simple, but also slightly infuriating at times. You use arrow keys to drive, and the sensitivity is weirdly difficult to get used to. You also lose health every time you bump into another car, until you eventually just straight up die. There's also these collectibles all throughout the middle of the track that require a lot of precision to collect, which can be really annoying. There's Hot Wheels logos for points, lightning bolts for boost, and wrenches to regain health. And every single time you collect the points, it plays this insanely high-pitched sound effect that's so goddamn loud. While the first track is a pretty basic set of turns and hills, the premium track is where the real whimsy is at. There's ramps that shoot you into the air, loops where you go upside down, a track going through the loop, and even a freaking tunnel that goes underwater. Although this track is much more difficult to drive on because there's multiple places where you can fall off and the entire race is just over, such as overboosting the ramps, turning too hard into a ramp, or this spot before the tunnel. As a kid, I was never able to win this race, so I took it upon myself to beat it 5 times in a row, unlocking every car in the process, so I can finally be crowned the king of this random 15-year-old Flash game. Overall, this game holds a special place in my heart. It's incredibly simple and has literally no content, but it's just so goddamn charming and memorable. It's still archived on things like Flashpoint, so I honestly recommend giving it a try if you like this sort of thing. Okay, that's enough about virtual color shifters, so let's get back to the real ones. During those first 2 years of the color shifters, we got introduced to a new title and logo, the packaging door mechanism, 2 cool track sets, and a whole Flash game. And the next year in 2010, they introduced yet another new gimmick, the color shifters creatures. If I had a nickel for every time they made a color-changing Hot Wheels series specifically themed after creature-related cars, I would have 2 nickels. Anyways, the main gimmick of this series is that it's a bunch of creature-themed cars that can switch between 3 different colors instead of just 2.
Dr. Bone's color lab changes the colors of creature cars in icy warm and warmer water.
They also have this awesome new logo and packaging style to really make it stand out. They also did this special Halloween edition of the packaging that comes with a squirting spider toy for some reason. I'm really curious about how the triple color change works, so let's unbox one to try out. God, the packaging is so cool. This logo with the freaking claws and the goop and the lightning in the background and the door mechanism. I love door mechanism. It got stuck. Door's stuck. What the frick? Oh, there you go. Okay, that's one slightly bad thing about the door mechanism is I guess it could actually get stuck. And here's the actual car, which, speaking of that, let's get him out of there. Oh, that was actually perfect. There he is! Also, I specifically got the Zombot because this is actually a really freaking cool Hot Wheel. Normally it drives like this, but he can also just stand up like this. Look at that! Also, look how freaking cleanly I got this out of the packaging. Boom. You can't even tell it was freaking open. That's actually so satisfying. Okay, let's go see the triple color change in action. Okay, so we got a third cup. That's the sinister lukewarm temperature.
The sinister.
The sinister
Why is it
lukewarm.
sinister?
Let's see if the triple color works now. Okay, it's changing to green. Wait, okay, it's actually going all the way. It's going brown. Okay, and now we get a bit of warm, and the really hot goes blue. Normal temperature goes purple. That's cool though. It's changing between quite a lot of colors. This is awesome. Yuppie! It's so cool that he goes green before he actually ends up at brown. Yay! Hold on, we need our producer's view on this. Do you approve? Is this car good? No thoughts behind his little head. The creature cars are also split into 5 different teams. There's the aquatics, the demons, the attack pack, the insects, and the creature catchers. Although the creature catchers aren't even creature cars at all, because they're the ones that catch the creatures, I guess. They're basically just an excuse to sell non-creature cars as well. Many of the creature cars were already Hot Wheels beforehand, like the Rodzilla, Zombot, and Vampira. But this series also introduced many new creature cars, like the Dragon Blaster, Piranha Terror, Speed Spider, T-Rex Destroyer, Buzzkill, Skull Crusher, and more. All the new creature cars have really cool designs, so much so that most of them became very popular mainline Hot Wheels for many years to come. The fact that they went this hard with all the new car designs just for one color shifter series really shows how much they cared. Although there's one creature car in particular that sadly ended up getting forgotten, the Evil Eye. This one is easily my favorite in the entire series, and after its introduction in the creature series, it was never seen again. It's just such a weirdly cursed design, I love it so much. There's also two different versions of it. This one with an eyelid, and a second version later that year where they just removed the eyelid for some reason. Okay, so I just had to buy one of these because it's literally my favorite one. And look, I found it in the cool Halloween packaging. The squirting spider toy! I can't wait to play with the squirting spider. Oh my god, and they even made the logo all shiny. Let's see if I could get another really clean opening on this. No. Okay, this is the cleanest I can do. Car. Spider! What the frick? Not very good, but I tried my best. And here's the Evil Eye car. It looks so cool. Giant freaking eyeball. We got the Evil Eye now. And now, Shimmy, we gotta play with the freaking squirting spider toy. There, we can squirt water.
Oh, in a coastal town.
Cold. Maybe our water just isn't cold enough because he's taking a while. Yeah, he's not changing in the cold water.
Oh.
You dropped it in there. Oh no. I'm back with actual ice cubes in the water, so this is definitely gonna work a lot better now. Ooh, in the ice cube water! And he changes so much more quickly. Look at that, he's like brown now. And now the spider. Color changing! Yay! Do you approve of it? Wait, he's forming a thought? Oh. Nah, it's not there. God damn it. Overall, the Color Shifters Creature series introduced so many cool creature-themed Hot Wheels and brought back the triple color change gimmick, which is far more dynamic and fun than the usual two colors. And the Halloween edition being packaged with a water squirting toy is so silly. I wish they did that more often. The next year in 2011, they sadly ended the Creature series, but thankfully, a whole bunch of new gimmicks swiftly arrived to take their place, turning 2011 into another amazing year for the Color Shifters. In total, there's 5 separate new gimmicks this year, all with their own custom logo to go along with it. And the most insane part of the lineup is the packaging update. Sadly, the awesome door mechanism is gone, but it's now replaced with a magical version of the same idea. A freaking holographic car that shows both car colors depending on the angle you look at it. While the door mechanism is more fun and interactive, this one really adds to the magical feeling of the gimmicks this year. The holographic material and the 5 different gimmicks with custom logos to choose from truly makes going to the Hot Wheels section at the store an exciting experience. And speaking of the gimmicks, let's actually talk about them now because they're so freaking cool. First off, there's the water revealers, which I'm not actually counting because they're just this year's renamed version of the default color shifters. Well, as you can see here, this one's just a normal color shifter basically, but with a freaking holographic card. Look at it, it's so cool. Well, it's not really that cool on this one because it's kind of the lamest one. It's literally just a Batmobile, but these red flames can either be there or not be there. Let's still test it out anyways though. Oh, look at him! And also, the actual holographic card itself comes out. And look at that! Now we actually have the card itself. Oh, that's so satisfying. Alright, well, let's just go test this out anyways, because why not? Why do you have to do it like that? Wait, yeah. Yay! This one sucks, so who cares?
Wow, flame decal. What flame decal?
Sorry, this one sucks.
Okay, well, it's
this
cool.
one's
It's the Batmobile, by
single-
the way. Did you not mention that it's
What a
the
shame.
Batmobile?
Frick this one sucks. Next we have the Color Shifter Metallics with this sparkly new logo. These ones are just normal color shifters, but with a much more metallic and sparkly material instead of the usual matte plastic. Although they already use this material pretty frequently, so it's weird that it's in its own separate gimmick series now, but whatever. And here's a metallic one. And look how sparkly the logo is! And the holographic card shows off all the sparkles. There's the car! Such a sparkly color shifter. It's actually really cute how the sparkles show on this, especially because they're really low res. Like, it reminds me of the blingy gifs. Okay, let's try these out too. Next we got a metallic car. Look how sparkly it is.
Yeah, wow.
Look, it's sparkly. Stop! Okay, let's go with the bit of... Now it's dark sparkly. I actually really like how it's sparkly like that.
I didn't know you could do
Isn't that
color shift
cool?
and metallic.
Yeah, that's cool. And now we also have the chromatics color shifters with this shiny logo. These ones are pretty similar to the metallics. It's just more on the shiny side instead of sparkly. And here's a shiny chromatic. For some reason, I have no clue how I didn't realize this, but I accidentally bought two of the exact same freaking car. This was a complete accident. I'm actually so stupid. Let's see how shiny he is. And obviously want to check out the card too, like always. Holographic card, so beautiful. Time to try this one out. Now we got the chromatic one, which instead of sparkly metallic, it's shiny. In the cold water, it gets red, shiny red. And then in the warm water, it gets shiny gold. Moving on to the much more interesting gimmicks, we have the glow-in-the-dark color shifters with this logo. And as you can probably guess, one of their colors glow in the dark. This is such a cool idea that I'm sure is incredibly fun to play with, but sadly I couldn't find a single one in stock online. Next we have the X-ray color shifters with this logo. These ones can change between a solid color and a freaking transparent one, which is insane. And now we got the freaking X-ray. Turning on Minecraft X-ray hacks to find diamonds. Okay, the one I got is kind of dirty. Like, what is all that? Ew! Let's get him out of there. Free him from the disgusting packaging. Look at his mouth. It looks like a freaking gummy. Like, I want to eat him. Yay, fruit snack! And when we put it in water, he'll be just solid green. Well, let's go see how that actually looks. So this car is like transparent. Okay. Oh, let him do his thing, okay? Okay, so we have the... The X-ray Hot Wheel that's transparent. Stop looking at the cat. Stop looking at the cat. Shimmy, stop recording our cat. What is he doing? I'm putting it in the ice water. Oh! And look at that, he's not transparent anymore. But then, and now he turns back into a gummy bear. Genuinely, if you look at this, doesn't it look like the exact same texture as like a gummy worm? I want to eat him. And finally, we have the coolest one of them all, the Color Shifters Hypercolors, with this awesome tie-dye looking logo. These ones have the most fun and interactive gimmick of changing through a whole spectrum of colors from just touch. Okay, so these ones I actually got two on purpose this time, because I'm so excited to play with them. And look at that awesome logo, Ratmobile. Okay, so he's all brown right now. Let's get this one out too. Oh, I actually did it nicely. Yeah! And now this one's card. So these guys can kind of change by touch. He gets really dark purple. And now that it's cold. Oh my gosh. Isn't that cool? But yeah. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah. Wow. It changed by my touch. Isn't that so cool, Snickers? Okay, so I have an experiment here. A bag of frozen French fries. Okay, as you can see, he's white. Now he's dark. Isn't that awesome? The wonders of temperature. Okay, I have another experiment. I'm gonna point a hairdryer at it and see if they change colors. Let's begin. Oh my god, it worked! Wow, they changed colors. That was really satisfying. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time. Wow! That's really cool. That's really fun. Again. Okay, Shibi's gonna try it now. Oh my gosh. Why does that look so cool? I've never thought to actually do this with the color shifters. Also, the hairdryer technique actually works with any color changing car. So here's a little montage of me doing it with literally all of them because it looks so goddamn cool. The next year in 2012, they thankfully continued all the silly gimmicks, along with adding yet another series, the DC Color Shifters. Although I don't really know why they had to be their own series, because there's literally no gimmick to it. It's just DC themed paint jobs. They do have their own custom brightly colored packaging though. These last few years have been amazing for the Color Shifters. All the different materials being in separate series with logo variations, custom packaging, door mechanisms, and even holographic cards really make the Color Shifters feel so much more dynamic dynamic and exciting. But sadly, the end of the whimsy was near, because the next year in 2013, the color shifters quickly became simplified and forgotten, with this being the new packaging. No more cool logos, no more door mechanisms, no more holographic cards, and no more gimmicks. Eventually in 2015, they added this rainbow goop effect on top that I actually really like, but that still doesn't save it from being a shell of what it once was. Then in 2017, they made one final update by changing the logo to this. I don't really know what I feel about this logo. It's not exactly bad, it's actually kinda nice looking. I just think the previous one was so much more fun to look at. And this is how the packaging looks to this day. There's still the occasional car that has the metallic material, triple color, or even hypercolor, but for some reason they just don't mention it anywhere on the box when they do. The series is so forgotten about that even when they bring back an old gimmick, they just literally don't tell you. No special names or custom logos anywhere. It feels so weirdly out of touch for them to do it like this. Back then, when a car did something special, no matter how small, they would make a huge deal about it with awesome logos to get you all excited. But now they just brush it aside as if they don't even care. And throughout the years, they didn't even bring back the pens or stamps in the track sets either. Although finally in 2021, there is actually one more gimmick series they ended up producing, the color reveal. With this series, you basically buy a tub with 2 cars in it, and those cars are completely covered in a thick coat of paint. And the gimmick is that the first time you dip them in water, the thick paint fades away and you can see the actual car colors. After that, it's just a normal color shifter and you have some yummy colored water to drink. For legal reasons, do not drink the water.
Now we got the color reveal. Come on. Oh, we got some untextured Hot Wheels. They're untextured. Let's just try this.
We're gonna end up with some
Oh,
goop.
wait, what's going on? Wait, what? Wait, you didn't tell me what this is. What's going on? The car's melting. Wait, what?
Whoa, it looks so cool when it's halfway through.
Putting both in?
Oh, I dropped them.
Wait, is that safe to drink?
Of course it is. Okay, it's coming off, but Jesus, it takes a while.
I got a bowl. It's not even rubbing off the car. Wait, what science experiment have you taken into his house?
Okay, but as you can see, underneath all that goop, we have a color shifter. Oh god, this is horrible. What have we done?
It's like gender reveal, but with cars.
It's like gender reveal, but with cars. It really takes a while to get all this goop off. I think that's good. There's still some on the back. Like, how do you get all this stuff off? Oh my god. This is such a mess. I hate these. There's still goop on it.
Oh my gosh, there's red puddles on the ground too.
I'm actually gonna throw it away because there's still goop just on it. I would never actually play with this. Every time I touch it, more red goop gets on my hand. Frick these. This gimmick is kinda cool. I'm glad they're at least doing something, but after scratching all that goopy paint off, it's just permanently a normal color shifter. It's basically just a messier and more annoying way to buy a color shifter car, and for that reason, I really don't care about these. And the final cool thing they did with the color shifters is this one specific car that came out in 2022, the Sean Wotherspoon Adidas collab. It's basically this Daira too, but as a color shifter that's covered in a really cool pattern. I really wish they did more of these, but this is the only time they've ever done it. More color shifters with custom packaging and special designs would definitely make the series much more exciting. Overall, the current state of the color shifters is fine. There's the occasional use of the cool gimmicks, even though they don't mention it anywhere, and the packaging does actually look pretty good now, even though it's missing the door mechanisms or holographic cards, and they are at least trying to do something considering that there's the color reveals and Adidas collab. I'm just glad that I could shed a light on the sheer amount of interesting things they used to do with the color shifters, because the simplified modern day version of them suggests that they only have one singular function, to switch between 2 colors. But no, at one point they had moving parts, you could use pens and stamps, they could glow in the dark, they could have 3 colors, they could even change color by just touch. Mattel completely disregarding all these gimmicks feels like such wasted potential. Although it is kinda dumb to complain about a perfectly fine toy series as an adult, but I do think it's worth mentioning how it did get lamer over time. I guess color changing paint has been a thing for long enough, so it's not exactly anything new anymore. So I'm not gonna fully blame the cost cutting on Mattel, even though they clearly aren't trying that hard. Like, come on, just bring back the pens and stamps, it's not that difficult. Anyways, this video was incredibly fun to make. Seeing how the series slowly developed over time with its packaging styles and gimmicks and even a full-on Flash game was really interesting. This toy series will always hold a special place in my heart, so thank you for joining me on this amazing color shifting journey. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, or even check out my merch store PolygonDonut.com. You can also check out my second channel, More Polygon Donut, where I recently uploaded some Lethal Company funny moments. Also comment down below if you have any memories of playing with these. Okay, bye!